Time to go.
Or the publisher, then.
Order. Okay, we'll bring this meeting to order then.
I second that.
Second that, okay.
We're done.
Motion
What
adjourned.
happened down there? We're mixing it up a little bit. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, Marie's been demoted.
Oh, wow. Congratulations, Lynn.
Thank you.
No, Marie's feeling a bit
Congratulations,
under
Marie.
the weather, so
Must be
she's
closer
like,
to the
It's only
bed.
half.
She doesn't want to pass germs.
she
Dave's
doesn't
like,
want to
"Don't get me
spread her
sick."
germs.
Dave's like, stay away, don't get me sick.
Okay, discussion on proposal for firehouse boiler. We had 3 bids, prevailing wage, which increases the cost by $6,000 to $8,000, because a couple gave bids both ways. Westar Tech is from Middletown. They're a company that our engineers thought would be interested. They were $39,640. I know.
Come on.
Fidala was $34,115, and Phoenix from Elmsford, that lady works for, gave us a price of $30,200. Unfortunately, the bids are with different equipment, so between Fidala and Phoenix, there's a Vidaris boiler versus a Burnham. And so I sent out the quotes and everything, because it wasn't apples to apples. They didn't fill out the forms, everyone did what they wanted, except for one company. And so Darren from Pitangaro looked at all of them, reviewed all the quotes to compare apples to apples, make sure everything was included we wanted. The boilers were the one thing that stood out between Fidala and Phoenix, and that was, I don't know what the difference, do you have any idea what the difference in just for a boiler would be?
What, in the quality of those 2 name brands?
Hi, I'm at a meeting. I'll call you later. Yeah.
On camera.
Bye. That counts.
Those are both good brands, I don't know. I've
Well,
seen
Burnham,
them.
he actually gave some information on, Darren did, that they actually had problems with them.
Oh, really?
cracking.
Well, that's a name that's been around forever. I don't know.
Me either. So I don't know, that's just way more than we expected, that's.
Oh, my God, like 3 times more than what I expected. I thought maybe 10 or 12,000.
Yeah,
Is a lot of the cost in the fact they have to take all the old stuff out of it?
well, they're taking everything out, removing it, putting new in, connecting to the, putting new flues in, new controls, and,
It's a lot of work.
Run the firehouse boiler.
But it's the prevailing wage
it's
that's
prevailing wage,
kicking
a
it up.
killer, yeah.
I didn't think of that.
How much had been allocated?
I don't know if we actually allocated, I think we thought it was gonna be in the tens or something, like Steve said, so. There's more equipment and stuff definitely that's included, but, I'd like to move ahead with it. I talked to Michelle about it, we have the money, I mean, nobody's happy about spending it. I don't know what the other options are. I talked to Jimmy, he said he couldn't lower his, so.
Well, we have to do prevailing wage on this, on stuff like maintenance, or, I thought that was only like capital projects or
Actually, I don't think it is,
instructional.
but
Then
people have just done it in the past, but we went through,
So if
we asked for prevailing wage through the bids, so.
we go with the lowest bid, what kind of guarantee, like, are they guaranteed for 20 years or something?
Don't know, I have that.
I mean,
We could wait till next week and just let that sink in a little.
What if we took the old boiler out ourselves?
39, 34.
Yeah, 39, 6, 34.
That's salty.
Dave, how much is the floor going to be?
The floor,
Yeah.
I think the floor was 20, wasn't it?
Oh, I think I just saw a bill for that, didn't I?
What's that?
I think I,
It was for the
No, it's
engineering.
not, it's just the
Oh,
engine,
okay.
or the, what they anticipated, which we have to put on next week's too, or else we'll lose that. I think we have $200,000 allocated for capital projects, if I remember right.
and where's Phoenix? Oh, Phoenix is from Elmsford.
That's Matt Leahy works for them.
yeah, they do work in the
He's a
village.
plumber, they do a lot of work, they work all around. so.
Yeah.
Yeah, see him there all the time.
So table that,
What's that?
table it.
Yeah, we'll table it, but we definitely have to make a decision next week. I don't think there's any way we're gonna get around it, but
Well, we have to take the lowest bid, don't we?
Well,
Not-
we
not
we could
necessarily.
reject all bids, and we don't, we could, you know, depending on the equipment, and, our engineer actually recommended taking Pedala because of the equipment difference. But I don't know if that would equal it.
Better
I
equipment.
doubt it's $4,000 more, but maybe it is. Polaris is definitely a top boiler for
Yeah.
sure, and more efficient. All right, next we have approval for a ticketed use of Mayor's Park.
Is that
Putnam-
Garden Street parking?
What's that? Oh, Garden Street, thank you. The Garden Street project is an update. We signed the contract, last week. Went over all the details on that. So they will probably be, they didn't send me the exact dates yet, but, first part of the project, they'll be doing sidewalks, curbs, and drainage. That'll be phase one. The street will be open to residents only, but it'll be open pretty much, and it's just so that, you know, the cars aren't going by them or close to them while they're working. But anyone can get in and out that's a resident, no problem there. They'll probably start, I think, was the 25th, but that's like a Friday, so maybe they're gonna set up on that Friday and start the following week, the following Monday. Like I
That's
said,
this month?
Yeah.
yeah, this month. So not this Friday, but the following Friday. And then after they complete all of the sidewalk and all the other work, sidewalks, curbs, and drainage, then they'll mill the road and then pave it. While they're doing that work, the road will be closed. It'll be open for emergencies, or if there's any needs by the neighbors, you know, the residents on the street, they'll, you know, accommodate anyone that has needs or has to get in or out. But basically, it'll be shut down to anyone else for probably a few days. Again, I don't have the total schedule. As soon as we do, we will notify everybody, go door to door, hangers, or whatever we gotta do. So that's one thing that's in motion. Next, we have approval of ticketed use of Mayor's Park. This is the third go-around. We have the map there. I went over everything with Laura again as far as music. She's going to, the one thing she's going to see is how John's runs, and as far as entrance and vendors coming in, beginning. There'll be no trucks or the food vendors over in the corner. I told her that's fine if they have them over there, but no trucks past the pavilion, even to unload stuff. So pavilions is the shut off, you know, is the edge of the pavilion is where they have to stop. They'd have to unload or come in from the field side. So no trucks. Last year there were food trucks, large ones in that corner, and we were lucky it was dry out. So nothing there. Porta Johns are still gonna be behind the pavilion, but as close as we can to that area too, so that we don't get anywhere near any of the back wet areas. Music stage is where it is. She doesn't have where the music's blaring out, but I told her it had to go towards the mountain, so she said that'd be fine. And I think everything else is pretty much there. Yeah.
Looks good.
So I'll make a motion to approve the Putnam Wine and Food Fest. What are the dates on it?
August 8th and 9th
August 8th and 9th,
of next year.
2020. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Then,
Aye.
second,
I'll second.
did you have a
Oh,
second?
sorry. Second?
Then,
I'll second that.
All in favor?
aye.
Next is, let's see, discussion on salary increase for Joe Norak. Actually, Fran reminded me that we kind of had a similar discussion when we hired him, because we were hiring at 16, and we brought him to 18. He's been invaluable to Bugsy, or, I don't know, has he talked to you? You were sitting down with Bugsy for quite a while.
We're talking about recycle.
Oh, okay. He's been invaluable to him as far as, I think he's the only person on the crew that's a mechanic and has mechanical skills. So he's been doing a lot of work, and, you know, Bugsy had come up with numbers, I don't know how, on the amount of money that he's probably saved us by not having the farm stuff out. He drives down from Highland every day. He seems to be a good worker. I thought we could give him another increase of $1 because of his skills, but that's, I don't wanna lose him, and Bugsy definitely doesn't wanna lose him. He is working on his, CDL.
He is.
He's working on it, he's got the paperwork and stuff, so he's studying for that section of it.
Is he still on probation
He's still on probation.
until,
I don't know when it is, a couple more months, we could wait till probation. Well, probation could be 6 months, or any
Yeah.
time over,
I'd
a
like-
year.
I mean, I don't mind giving Joe a raise, I think he is invaluable, but I would like to wait until he's finished with probation.
But
And
we
I-
didn't really set a probation.
Well,
Probation
isn't-
is
isn't it like-
usually a year.
Isn't it like 6 months,
6
but you could
months.
extend it to a year
6
if you had
months.
to.
And the guide specifically says no increases in the probation period.
Okay,
I mean, I don't mind approving now for, when he's finished his probation,
okay.
if we wanna do it that way.
That's probably a
Whatever
few
that
more,
is.
few more months.
Yeah,
No, he's been here 4 months, hasn't he?
He might be.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll make a motion to increase Joe Norrock's, salary, by $1, after, his,
probation.
probationary
6 months.
period
Mhm.
is over and, on a recommendation of the highway crew chief.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. Discussion on cyber insurance and options.
Oh, okay, I don't have everything that I asked for.
Do you wanna table it?
Yeah, let me table it. I have Anthony Adamo, just for everyone's information, says that our backup is continuous and files are changed 24/7. So if the data were to be attacked, there's a automatic backup mechanism. But he also speaks about, he said, I'd like to offer other options such as file and full image backup that would make it much more expensive, however, may offset the ransomware insurance. And when I asked him for the price of that, he didn't get back to me on that yet, so I need to follow up on that. I have a funny feeling that his much more expensive is gonna be much more expensive than the insurance is gonna be, but I'm waiting to hear back, and I will be in touch with him again. So the answer to one of the questions is our systems are backed up continuously, so we know that much. And the rest of it, so let's table that until I can get more, and I apologize that I didn't follow through.
Can't apologize for someone not getting back to you. Okay, so that's tabled. Doors on the new wastewater treatment plant building, I think it's not only the doors, there's some siding left. Steve would know more about that.
Yeah.
How do we move ahead on that, Steve? Do we
Well,
wanna
the
put it
doors
up
were,
to-
the doors were decided they didn't want them, I thought, because they thought it limited the ability for the trucks to get in and out. That's what,
I thought the reason was to cut down on the noise, why we were doing anything in
No.
the front there.
well, the metal needs to go up there. I haven't done that yet, but the doors, they were moving ahead on, because I put the stuff in for them to
Yeah.
do it.
Right.
And they decided they didn't want them, Scott and Rick.
I mean, if the opening's there and the doors are overhead, they're not gonna be any different.
No,
The
what happens
opening-
is the overhead door guys said they wanted to make it narrower even before they could put doors on it. And I made it as wide as possible, and it's still a little tight, so they said, no, we don't wanna do it. So that's what happened, like, quite a while ago.
I don't think they get to vote on that one.
Well, no, they use the doors, they're the ones that back in and out of there, and the truck, the mirror is on the truck, they take in and out of there, it just barely fits as it is. So they were gonna, the overhead door guy said, well, we're gonna have to make it smaller even,
But the-
and that's why they decided not to.
Right, but my point is, they don't get to vote. The noise from that, the engines there is very disturbing to the people on Fair Street. And,
I think very would be a
pardon me?
slight exaggeration, but go ahead.
Okay, so we told the residents of Fair Street that we would have doors installed at least 2 years ago. So I'll get in touch with Matt to find out what the problem is, but this is the first thing.
Well, Matt probably doesn't know anything about it,
I'll
so.
still get in touch with
Okay.
Matt, because he's the superintendent down
Currently,
there, and find out what alternatives he's saying can occur, so that we can cut down
Right.
on the noise.
Well, it would probably have to be one of those roll-up overhead doors that get mounted on the front.
Well, we already have the doors, right?
No,
I
there's
thought
no
that-
overhead doors installed.
I thought doors were ordered and were sitting
No,
down.
they didn't do it because the truck wouldn't fit in and out of the door with the overhead doors
could've
that they were gonna
sworn-
get.
I could have
could've
sworn we
we
paid
had
for the
them too,
doors.
yeah. I mean, I remember this discussion a while ago, but I thought we had everything, we just had to hang them.
I thought everything was down there and just was waiting for
I think
installation.
the siding's down there.
Siding's down there,
I don't care about the siding.
there's, well, that's gonna cut back on the noise, cause the siding is what goes in front of that motor. But we did all the work for them to do the overhead doors, and Greg said, we can't get the truck in and out, so we can't put the overhead doors in, and that's where it was left maybe a year ago.
Okay, I'll talk to Matt.
Yeah, we'll talk to Scott really, cause he would know why that happened, more than Matt would.
And then, did they use that, both of them? Are both of those empty for trucks to fit in anyway? One has mostly
It
equipment.
is, but they put the truck in there sometimes.
How can they fit a truck in the northernmost bay? I don't see.
They were putting it in the middle, the
Yeah,
truck.
I thought the northernmost bay was where the equipment was that was causing all of
It
the
is, I'm talking about where they parked the truck inside of
Right, so,
the middle, there's 3 openings,
but
you know?
I thought what we had agreed was to put doors on the northern bay, which is where the equipment was.
Right, that's
And-
not
and
doors,
just-
that's just, cladding, siding, or whatever, sheathing. That's not a door, that has a door in it for a human being to walk in and out of, and then the rest is metal, and then the next 2 bays to the south are open fully, and they need to get trucks in there, or they're gonna put their truck in there.
So if we put, the sheeting that goes in the northern one is not up yet either.
No,
So if we put that up, maybe we can.
That
tell
will
whether or
help.
not-
a lot, I was just
So-
thinking about that too,
Put that up and
obviously.
see how the noise
Okay, well,
is.
before we do that, let's see what the story is
Yeah.
on the doors.
I'll
Yeah.
talk to them.
And, why we can't do it, and if it's a matter of them pulling their, mirrors in or something as
Yeah.
is.
Something like that.
And then go from there. And then if either way, we have to move it forward, so if you
Yes.
want, we can put an ad in, or I don't know if you have time, and, if not, then we'll put it
Yeah.
out there to bid.
Let's hire somebody to do it,
Right,
To
well,
finish
let's see what we need, so we know what we're asking them to do.
okay?
Okay, I'll deal with that.
I'll talk to Matt.
Okay.
What's that?
She said she's gonna talk to me. I'll deal with figuring it all out
Okay,
so that we can get it done.
okay, sounds good. Next is a little bandstand request from, Mike Klubnik, a former resident who probably played at 90% of every wedding ever had for decades. Anyway, he would like to play with this, one other guy, on the bandstand for a few hours from 1 to 6, this Saturday, and with a rain date of Sunday. He paid $25, that was the fee, no charge, and he's not asking for anything, maybe pass the hat, so. Anyway, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
That's very nice.
Is he gonna advertise?
I don't know, I'm gonna be out time, might go down there and play. Might go-
We're gonna have a very busy waterfront on Saturday.
Yeah, I told him that. Feel that. He probably won't be able to get in. Well, Earl said he's gonna have a good audience. Let's see, where are we? I forget your Benson. Correspondence, we finally got back a letter from the Department of Transportation regarding, putting some type of a traffic light, at Chestnut Ridge. I'll read that quickly. Thank you for your correspondence, May 20th, 2019, to the New York State Department of Transportation requesting a traffic study in the village of Cold Spring to assess the safety for pedestrians crossing Chestnut Street, Route 9D, to determine if additional safety devices, including the traffic light, should be added. Please know that the 3 crosswalks across 9D at Chestnut Street, Benedict Road, and Oak Street are all signed in accordance with the standards of New York State Pedestrian Safety Action Plan, PSAP. In addition to the signs at and in advance of these crosswalks, there are northbound near Chestnut Street and southbound near Grandview Terrace flashing beacons with pedestrian next 3/4 mile signs to warn motorists of pedestrians in the area. Please understand that the pedestrian warning signs and flashing beacons are just that, a warning of the conditions that a driver might encounter while driving along the road, such as pedestrians entering the road to cross. Should the driver encounter a pedestrian entering the crossing the road, the driver then needs to yield to the pedestrian and adjust their speed accordingly. These are good tips. Moreover, during the highway work permit process for the New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Medical Offices, the installation of additional pedestrian facilities or a traffic signal was not required as a mitigation factor for the location under the State Environmental Quality Review Act process. Additionally, preliminary review of this location shows that the engineering criteria used to determine whether a traffic signal should be installed at this location would not be met. Since there are existing PSAP compliant pedestrian signs, crosswalks, and flashing beacon in places along this segment of Route 9D, and the engineering criteria used to determine whether a traffic signal should be installed would not be met, the New York State Department of Transportation cannot accommodate the request for additional pedestrian enhancements or traffic signal at this location. The village, under highway work permit, may install an in-street pedestrian crossing sign, or I guess that's what we had bought for out here, isn't it? That sign you put in the middle. Or a rectangular rapid flashing beacon at the crosswalk. For information on highway work permit process, please contact Putnam County resident engineer, Mr. Gregory Bentley. It is important to note that only law enforcement can enforce drivers yielding to pedestrians in the crosswalk and drivers exceeding the posted speed limit. Please contact law enforcement if the pedestrians report that drivers are not yielding to them while they are in the crosswalk, or if drivers are exceeding the posted speed limit. Thank you for your interest in the traffic safety, and for bringing your concerns to our attention. If you require further information on this request, please contact our Regional Traffic and Safety Group. Yours truly, Gail Sutter, Transportation Analyst.
So that says no.
Copy to Rena.
It was copied
Yes,
there.
it was, yes.
Yeah.
So is this in-street pedestrian crossing signal the thing that sits on the double yellow line that motorists tend to hit, sort of?
Especially
Right in
trucks
the middle,
running
yeah.
over.
It's like a cone.
I think it's taller than that,
It is.
but it tends to get hit and knocked over and run over a lot. I'm
Yeah,
not sure
Especially on
that
narrow streets.
that would be useful.
Yeah, no, I don't think either of them will be.
Maybe the flashing.
What is a rectangular rapid flashing beacon?
I think it would probably have a pedestrian on it, would be yellow, and it would have flashing lights going around the
On
perimeter.
the sidewalk, I
So
guess.
it would be different from what we currently have. We currently have, I believe it's triangular with flashing yellow lights.
Yeah, that's up a ways. This would go right around the sign itself, I think.
What about moving what we have right now to the crosswalk?
I seriously don't think it does anything.
Okay,
I don't know, if everyone else feels like it does, I just think people get used to those signs. We have a person, a crossing guard, a physical human being standing up there, crossing people that they ignore, with flashing lights on one end, and I don't know how many
Stop.
signs are going down 9D now. And it does,
Has Larry seen this?
no, we can, I'll run it by Larry.
We have to
Let's see.
get to
I think moving it then gives less, if you,
it gives you less
the
warning
final.
that there's a
less
crosswalk,
warning, yeah.
that there's a crosswalk ahead, that's true.
Yeah. We'll talk to Larry and,
Okay.
see
Oh,
what
wait a minute. I'll
actually.
leave it down on the board.
Okay, approval of minutes, 9:24. I'll make a motion to accept.
Second,
Discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Moving right along.
Approval of bills?
I move to approve batch number 5307 for a total amount of $48,500.03.
I will second that. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I have one last thing, let's see, seventh grade, Haldane seventh grade class, under the guidance of Miss Geeson, Heidi Geeson, I'll be painting the tunnel, weather permitting, as long as it doesn't get too cold, on November 3rd, 11 to 3 o'clock. All help is welcome. I believe CD Paint is providing the paints for that. So, It's a nice project, I think they were going to do it 2 years ago, maybe.
Maybe a year ago, right?
So I think they did some test paints and it seemed to hold up, so they're gonna attempt it.
C Street,
Keep out trouble.
What's that?
C Street?
Oh, C Street, yes, the horrible C Street. Yeah, God, that's, we want to talk about. So we found out today, usually C Street calls us and tells us how many people are gonna be on their boats. This weekend, 750
That's
on
it?
Saturday.
Seemed like more.
And right now, I think they have 500 signed up for Sunday, but they're expecting the full boat, so it'll be another 750.
Right.
So, in a semi-panic mood today, we mowed today. Marie called, I talked to Marie called and asked, saw if they would, actually pony up for some porta-johns, and they agreed to that.
Yeah.
That's good.
So we haven't decided where we'll install them, or how many do you think we can get? 4?
I'm gonna go with a budget of 500, however, and, for the,
4 backwards?
yeah,
Okay.
with a washing station and however many, independent,
Okay.
I
I
can
think
get.
we can get 4 and have washing stations and put them in 2 different places.
Well, you need 2 washing stations.
Right. Could we find out what that would be if we separate? I don't know where we'd put them. We could put 2 down the river and then 2 up by the
The current restrooms,
current restroom.
Yeah.
They'll look real pretty there.
yeah. And if you're gonna have Michael down there on Saturday, we could do 2 where we used to do the Independence Day,
Right,
right up against Impel's property,
right.
right off of the, right on the grass there. We could do 2 there and 2 up by the restrooms. Wherever we put them, I'll notify C Street so that they can make an announcement to their passengers.
What if we put them on the other side of the tracks by Pedalis?
The one thing that will concern me there is that it's not a level surface. It tends to be sloped toward the river. There's not a lot of flat.
I'll take a look at it. All right, but anyway, if you want to see what the
I'll
availability
get
is or what we
price.
need, I'll work with you tomorrow on that.
Yep.
The other thing is we thought it's gonna be overwhelming for the restaurants. So we can bring up the ugly word of food trucks and maybe contacting some folks that we know and seeing if they'll come down and set up at Dockside, I guess. Anyone, thoughts on that from anyone else?
Do we have enough time to do that now for this weekend?
I don't know, we can call and see if
Yeah, we
somebody,
should.
it just means driving down.
Last week, there were 606 that were ticketed as of end of day Thursday, so that's probably what the number of people that were in town from the C Street last week. This week, there'll be 150 people more than that. They're coming in 2 boats on both days, and the boats will be separated by an hour. So the first boat will hold 500 people, then an hour later, the second boat will come in 250 people.
It's like D-Day.
That is, that's a good analogy.
Storming the beaches.
I was gonna slam video.
But
Can we shoot at them?
the problem, of course, is that what I said to Brett is we lost a restaurant on Main Street, so have you been hearing any negative feedback from your customers about their inability to get food? And he said, no.
Right.
He said they had no negative feedback from last weekend,
That was at
none whatsoever.
I was at the Riverview on Saturday night, and I think Jimmy Eli said he did 250 lunches Saturday. And he moved them in and moved them out, and he can do that, so he can roll them as fast as he needs to.
Yeah, and staggering the boats does help a bit, but 500 people all at once, that's a lot.
I mean, they've got the Riverview, they've got the Foundry, they've got the pizza place, they've got the depot, they've got
Cheese shop?
Catherine's, they've got the cheese shop,
And,
Willie's.
The
Willie's.
depot, yeah.
Willie's. I would tend to say let's
And coffee
hold
shop.
off, and the coffee shop, yeah.
Foundry too.
I would tend to say let's hold on the trucks and let's see how it pans out this weekend.
Well, this is probably the peak weekend.
What's that?
This is probably the peak
Right.
weekend
Yeah,
for colors.
yeah, it is.
We should get our own grill going in front of
That's what I
Village
said
Hall.
to Dave, we should go down and do hot dogs and hamburgers at Mayor's Park. Steve, we want you there, you'll be our flipper.
I can do that. We should do it right on Main Street.
Okay, so I'm kind of hearing we don't need the food trucks.
I
Oh, it can't hurt, I mean, geez. Plus, there's the million hikers as well, that are gonna be alongside of the boaters.
Yeah,
And we've got Mike Klubnik's 100 people listening to him play.
Another
And then
hundred,
He has
however
a
many
draw
people come
that-
up on the
then people that
train.
drive, cause it's nice here and they just wanna walk around or look
I
around.
could do
I'm
a
not gonna
quick
hear this
ask
weekend.
of the restaurant owners, if they have a problem with it, they think,
You wanna do
What do
that?
they pay per person to
Do a
come up
quick
on that?
pass.
Lynn, thoughts?
It's up.
Like hundreds?
Why don't we approach the woman who wanted to do it down at Mayor's Park?
Yeah, I was
And,
gonna do that.
You know, see if she'd like to
Maybe
do.
one other person, I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, I wasn't thinking of a,
If you want to, ask the
Maybe,
restaurant
you know,
owners.
there's a food truck that sets up at the farmer's market called, oh gosh, I'm blanking on the name of it. But maybe if we just
Yeah.
go to them and say, hey, look, when you're done, why don't you go down to,
There's another guy that does the Restoration Chapel, the food truck there.
Kamal,
Otavio, no.
doesn't it, they had been using Kamal.
what's that?
Well,
They had been using Kamal
And
at
it's
the
Otavio's the other
Restoration
guy.
Road.
The taco truck?
Yeah,
Okay, I think I have Kamal's number. All right, so we'll try to call a few. I don't think having two down at Dockside is gonna kill business.
Yeah,
No.
And I know Doug was turning people away, for sure.
yeah, cause he
Yeah,
can't.
he's
Because
got
Larry was down there and, not this Doug.
a sign about groups of
Pretty,
seven.
pretty good. What's that?
He's got a sign out there about groups of seven.
Yeah, he can't handle it.
He was turning a lot of people away. so.
And then you've got, I don't know if the Argentina does anything. He does some
Yeah,
stuff.
he does. He has people in his little garden, his illegal garden.
In the Hudson House.
Okay, I'm sinking here. I don't have much time left. Quicksand. Anything else from the board?
No.
Thank you, Marie, for calling them today. That was good.
oh, one last thing, November 5th, the meeting on November 5th.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We want to not have that, so we'll work around that. Michael doesn't want it.
Alright, never mind.
There's the tail wagging the dog.
I'd like to not have it.
Okay, so I don't think we should have it. We'll work around.
Is there a significance that I'm unaware of for
On
November?
election day.
Oh, other than that.
Excuse us.
So that's 11/5.
Yes,
Mhm.
Okay.
That's important, I guess.
We know you don't.
and if something comes up, we could always do the last Tuesday in October when we don't have anything scheduled.
Yep.
Okay, so,
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, can you recap that, firehouse, boiler bridge thing?
The Byler Bridge, yeah.